Welcome to our US Briefing Show. Today, we're diving into some hot topics from the global stage. First up, the US-Russia summit in Alaska is grabbing China's attention as Beijing watches closely, learning lessons on dispute management and diplomacy amidst tensions. Despite their cautious stance, China urges peace in Ukraine but keeps a close eye on US policies, especially regarding Taiwan and trade. Next, we turn to Donald Trump, who's being suggested as a Nobel Peace Prize contender. But experts warn that his aggressive, power-driven mediation tactics might do more harm than good, possibly escalating conflicts rather than resolving them. Trump's approach, they say, is more about political prestige than genuine peacebuilding. Finally, China is making headlines with its impressive new weapons display and sharp criticism of U.S. human rights policies. From hypersonic missiles to groundbreaking medical advances, Beijing is showing strength while accusing the U.S. of using human rights as a bargaining chip. Stay tuned as we follow these dynamic stories shaping our world. Please continue to watch for the full details. The Deutsche Welle reports on the recent Alaska summit between Trump and Putin, which has become a pivotal moment for China to observe and learn from. The summit was characterized by a shift in US-Russia negotiations, with Trump appearing to move from pressuring Russia for a ceasefire to urging Ukraine to accept territorial concessions, notably in Donetsk. This shift, coupled with Trump's unpredictable stance, offers Beijing a nuanced lesson in diplomacy, highlighting the importance of flexibility and the potential risks of inconsistency. Experts suggest that China views this summit as an opportunity to refine its own approach to disputes with Washington, especially on sensitive issues like Taiwan and trade tensions, where Trump's tactics of leveraging economic power and displaying unpredictability could influence China's strategic calculations. Despite China's cautious stance, the summit's outcome underscores the broader geopolitical landscape, emphasizing that China's core policies on Ukraine are unlikely to change, even as it watches how the U.S. navigates complex negotiations and regional conflicts. The South China Morning Post emphasizes Zelensky's firm stance ahead of his meeting with Trump, warning against rewarding Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. Zelensky insists that Moscow should not be rewarded with territorial concessions, reiterating Ukraine's refusal to cede land like Crimea or accept NATO membership restrictions. The summit's context is tense, with Russia continuing its attacks, including deadly drone strikes and missile assaults, demonstrating its ongoing aggression. Zelensky's message underscores Ukraine's unwavering commitment to territorial integrity and resistance, despite international pressure and the complex diplomatic dance involving the US and European allies. Meanwhile, China maintains its call for peace, urging all parties to seek a diplomatic solution, but the Ukrainian conflict remains a deeply entrenched issue, with Ukraine and its allies rejecting any compromise that would undermine its sovereignty. Zelensky's warning against concessions reflects the broader global concern that rewarding aggression could set a dangerous precedent, further complicating efforts to achieve lasting peace. The South China Morning Post also highlights Trump's controversial role in mediating international conflicts, which experts warn could backfire by escalating tensions rather than fostering peace. Trump's high-profile interventions, from brokering ceasefires between India and Pakistan to mediating conflicts in the Middle East and Southeast Asia, are criticized for being superficial and rooted in power politics rather than genuine diplomatic resolution. Scholars argue that Trump's approach, which often involves coercion, tariffs, and a disregard for historical context, risks sowing long-term discord and undermining the stability of regional relations. His recent efforts, such as offering peace agreements in Nagorno-Karabakh and border disputes in Southeast Asia, are seen as attempts to boost his personal prestige and potential Nobel Peace Prize prospects, rather than sustainable solutions. Critics contend that Trump's reliance on power and money, rather than strategic patience and respect for international norms, diminishes his credibility as a mediator and could ultimately increase global tensions, especially as his unpredictable tactics threaten to destabilize already fragile conflicts. South China Morning Post reports that China's impressive military parade this upcoming month will be under scrutiny from European diplomats, who are contemplating boycotting the event due to Vladimir Putin's expected attendance and the potential involvement of Russian troops. Meanwhile, Beijing's military rehearsals have showcased an array of cutting-edge weaponry, including hypersonic anti-ship missiles and a mobile intercontinental ballistic missile system, signaling China's rapid advancements in military technology. In addition, Chinese scientists have made groundbreaking progress in neuroscience by transplanting human brain cells into mice, which has resulted in reduced depressive behaviors and increased pleasure, an innovative leap that combines human stem cell research with potential mental health applications. The Associated Press highlights MSNBC's upcoming rebranding to My Source News Opinion World, MS Now, marking its formal separation from NBC as part of a corporate restructuring under Versant. This change, set to occur later this year, involves dropping the iconic NBC Peacock logo and establishing MSNBC as an independent entity with a more distinct identity. The move aims to allow the network to craft its own reporting style and reduce reliance on NBC News personalities, giving it a fresh, more autonomous voice in the media landscape. Despite concerns about the risks associated with rebranding, MSNBC's leadership believes this shift will enable the network to better serve its liberal audience and focus on independent journalism. Deutsche Welle discusses Vietnam's sweeping tax reforms, which are poised to overhaul the country's small business landscape. The government plans to abolish the simplified lump sum tax system by 2026, compelling around 2 million local businesses to adopt a more complex declaration system. While these reforms aim to boost tax revenue and foster fair competition, critics warn that the sudden shift could devastate small enterprises, many of which are still recovering from COVID-19 disruptions. The new policies also reflect Vietnam's broader ambitions to become Asia's next economic tiger, with substantial investments in infrastructure and efforts to modernize tax collection to curb corruption. However, the transition poses significant challenges for small business owners who face increased compliance costs and stricter regulations, risking the livelihoods of many in the process. Deutsche Welle reports that the recent summit between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin has been closely monitored by China, which sees it as a valuable lesson in high-stakes negotiation strategies. Despite the U.S. offering security guarantees to Ukraine, Trump's shift from pressuring Russia to urging Ukraine to accept territorial concessions signals a complex diplomatic dance that Beijing finds intriguing. Experts like Jia Ian-chong observe that Trump's unpredictable stance and the summit's emphasis on negotiation give China a sense of political flexibility, aligning with its own approach of setting aside differences in international dealings. However, they also caution that Trump's inconsistent behavior introduces an element of caution, as Beijing remains unsure about his future policies. The summit's implications extend beyond Russia and Ukraine, offering China insights into how to manage its disputes with Washington over Taiwan, trade, and the South China Sea, especially as Trump's comments on Taiwan's stability and China's leverage in trade negotiations reveal a nuanced geopolitical landscape. Associated Press details a tragic house fire in Hartford, Connecticut, which rapidly engulfed a residence early Monday morning, resulting in the deaths of 2 adults and 2 children, with 5 others injured, including a firefighter. The blaze, ignited around 2:30 a.m., was so intense that firefighters were initially able to enter but had to retreat due to the fierce heat and smoke. The identities of the victims remain undisclosed, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. The injured, treated at local hospitals, suffered non-life-threatening injuries, with the firefighter injured after falling during the chaos. This devastating event underscores the dangers of house fires and the importance of swift emergency response, leaving the community mourning and seeking answers about what caused the deadly blaze. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.